Oh, hello everyone. I hope you all had a great Christmas, spent it with your family and your loved ones and good friends. I certainly did, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, and it was a very lovely time. Ate way too much, but really enjoyed it, so it was great to see my loved ones. But I couldn't help myself. I just got to say some things about Ripple, of course, my favourite. Because there's a few things going on just before the end of the year, and I think it might give it some more impetus to go up. This is my personal opinion, so what you do with your own finances is your thing in terms of your risk profile and the money you can afford to lose. Crypto markets are, of course, dangerous, and you can lose money, so really you've got to do your own thing with your own finances. But my personal view is this is what I'm doing with my money. As you know, I've got an esoteric trading solutions business. We run a Slack chat line, and the subscriptions are very cheap. You can subscribe for a year, $230 Aussie, $170 for 6 months. 3 months is $100, a monthly is $39.99, and if you're a student, $20. So always looking for new members. We've got quite an active channel, and we do a lot of trading as well. So we make money not just holding things for long term, but doing short term trading as well. You know, I love trading. I trade markets. I've got to trade on nearly every day. And I close things out within the night or during the day, so I trade a lot when I can. Just love it. Anyway, going back to Ripple, my favourite cryptocurrency. Ben obviously sent this to me about a week ago or so, and he was quoting Warren Buffett, and I keep going back to this because I wasn't aware of what Warren Buffett said. I know he's one of the best investors in the world, and one of the wealthiest men in the world, but he said the market can always get price wrong, which I know I've seen that in my life. So things can always be wrong with the market price. High returns with low risk is the key, and I certainly think that is Ripple. And I certainly think the market has definitely got Ripple's price wrong. Even when it was 18 cents or 20 cents, I was saying to people, this is crazy. But my honest personal opinion, just my personal opinion, I think Ripple is still way too cheap. When I look at other cryptos that are just absolute garbology, they don't even have prototypes out there. It's all just a wish, or we're going to do this. We're gonna people. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. They've got nothing on the table. They've got no revenue generation, no clients, no nothing. Ripple seems to me to have everything. And the price, I don't give a rat's ass about what's on issuance. I really don't care, because it's just too cheap for their technology and the client base they've got and the client base they're going to get. Absolutely. So number one, it's still too cheap in my opinion. Again, I've been in markets for over 30 years, so I've seen a lot of valuations and I've seen a lot of different companies. But number one, I believe it's still too cheap, regardless of the crypto on issue, because of the client base they've already got and the future client base they're going to get, which will generate them revenue, which will go directly to their bottom line. And, rather than them having a company worth $15 billion in cash, they'll probably end up having a company worth $50 billion in cash, which would be a nice company to take over if they ever go listed on the exchange. If they ever go listed on the exchange, it'll be treated like an IT company. And we know where a lot of very well-known IT companies went, like Google, for example, which again reminds me of new technology. Back in 1992, I remember getting the internet. Everyone didn't know how it was going to work. People were like frustrated with it. They couldn't remember how to find things. They thought this was a gimmick, a gag, whatever. And because we're in financial markets, we got it first. And there was all these different search engines, all of them. And I remember someone showing me Google, it must have been like 1999 or 2000, and for some reason I just stuck with Google, and Google was the winner, and we know where Google's price is. And this is the feeling I have with Ripple. Ripple has the best technology in the market, and there are so many people that hate Ripple. I just cannot understand it. They go, oh, because it's centralized. Well, the reality is, so what if it's centralized? The technology isn't. The technology is decentralized. The company might be owned by SBI, which I'll go into today, 11%, and the rest of the company, 6%, is held by the creators of the coin, but it doesn't matter. The technology is decentralized, and it's the best technology compared to all the cryptos out there. So it really doesn't matter. It's the best of breed. No one is anywhere near Ripple in terms of technology. So coming back to the Warren Buffett thing, buy wonderful companies. If Ripple gets listed on the stock exchange, their crypto is going to go up with it, pretty much. The equity guys would see the value in Ripple and they would buy it with their ears pinned back because they would treat it like an IT company with $15 billion in the bank. I don't need to tell you where they think where that would go. Warren Buffett said it's okay to dream big. Well, I'm certainly dreaming big because I've been buying Ripple since it got down to 16.5 cents, 18, 20, 21, any dip I've been buying. And I'll continue to buy it because I really, really think Ripple currency is just too cheap. You know, $1, $1.12, it's a joke, absolute joke. I've never seen something so cheap in my whole life. That's my personal opinion. And you guys out there can think what you like. You can put it down. You can call it this. You can call it that. But honestly, you're just missing the big picture completely. I mean, I've worked in banking all my life, as I said, in financial markets. And the reality is, if banking takes on Ripple as a currency, which looks like they will, it'll, you know, give it time, but that will percolate down to the high net worth individual. The high net worth individual that has more 5 million, more than 5 million of investable assets over and above their house, or 10 million or 100 mil, they will start dealing in Ripple, and then it'll percolate down eventually to the retail level, which is just, you know, everyone. Because Bitcoin is old technology. It takes way too long to do anything with Bitcoin because of the miners. You can try and transfer something for $57, like I saw on Reddit the other day, and the guy got charged $35 in fees. I mean, crazy. You go out and buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin, and it takes you, you know, 8 hours for it to go through. It's not going to work for anyone. And I've seen some people saying, oh, the banks use Bitcoin. They've got to be kidding me. In foreign currency land, there is no way the banks would use Bitcoin. There is no way. And the central banks using Bitcoin, forget it. They couldn't even rely on settlement, and be, you know, held up by the miners if they're going to process or not. Forget it. Just crazy. Also, Warren Buffett said invest for the long term. Well, again, my long term, I guess, is 2 to 5 years, but we just have to see. You know, yeah, I do want to hold it forever because I really think Ripple is big. It is as big as 1992 with the internet. This digital technology is as big as it was in when the internet came along. And I'm old enough to remember the internet because I worked in financial markets. We got all this stuff first. And you know, what they can do with their digital technology and their currency is quite amazing. If people use the technology, the companies or the banks, they save 30%. If they use the currency as well, they save another 30%. So overall, they save 60% of costs to their bottom line. And great investors don't diversify. Well, you know what? I haven't diversified too much at all because I've had so much experience in banking and financial markets. I believe this is a gift, literally a gift from God for me. Anyway, and pretty much I'm not diversifying. If it drops anywhere, I'd love it to drop down to 20 cents. I'd be buying more. Okay, when we look at the costs and speeds of other cryptos, and I've probably said this so many times, but I just want you to have a look at this. Ripple, 3 seconds. Cost, excuse me, 0.0004, not even a basis point, not even a quarter of a basis point. Transactions, this is on a bad day, 1,500 transactions. I've seen higher figures than this, much higher figures. 1,500 transactions in 3 seconds. This is foreign currency transactions, amazing. Bitcoin, if you're lucky, 66 minutes. I've heard variations from an hour through to 8 hours. Cost, $28.23. I've heard costs anything from $20 to, as I said, that young guy getting charged $35 or something. Steemit don't use them anymore because they can't rely on them. Scalability, 32 transactions per second, if you're lucky. This is all if you're lucky. Ethereum, 2 minutes. Cost, 96. 16 transactions per second. But Ethereum have had their fair share of technology woes as well, like lots of different technology woes, with multiple signature wallets, something else being in the development stuff, you know, just this and that and everything else. Of course, they brought out a fork. No one uses the forks, the fork currency, so does Bitcoin. They bring out all these different forks, but no one uses them. You know, Bitcoin Cash, again, Bitcoin Cash, let me just turn that off. Always ring at the wrong time, these people. Bitcoin Cash, 58 minutes, but they still use the same miners as Bitcoin. And also they're still on the same distributed ledger. Their costs are cheaper, but again, 64 compared to 1500, there's no comparison. Dash, 15 minutes, 0.64, 10. If you can see Litecoin here, it's very light, but Litecoin, 17 minutes, 0.37 for cost and 56. I mean, people saying that all these guys are competitors of Ripple, they have to be kidding. And that the central banks or any banks will use these, you've got to be joking. No bank or even Visa card or Amex would use these. They're way too slow. Even Visa card have better technology than these guys in terms of what they can process in terms of transactions. And again, IOTA, the guy that transferred IOTA is still waiting for it, has just not seen it. And again, the costs of IOTA you might say are free. Well, they're not. You use your machine to validate the transactions, which you don't know are right or wrong. You use your own resources in your own time. So what do you put a price on for that? The running of your internet, the electricity, your own resources in your own time. I would say that's probably worth more than $1 a minute. My time's certainly worth more than $1 a minute anyway. So again, expensive and just not deliverable. Today we also got SBI announced that it's integrating with Ripple for its major credit cards and banks, and it's going to launch virtual currency exchange in the coming weeks, and this will directly connect the banks and credit cards with Ripple for payments. So in other words, SBI, which is one of the biggest holding companies in Japan, is going to use Ripple's currency for payments and credit cards and for their banking business. So you might say, who are they? SBI, they call themselves, their name is Strategic Business Innovators. They were established in 1999, and they're in banking, securities, one of the first internet-based financial companies. Well, they are, because I remember the internet coming out in 1992. And it took years for the internet to take off, years, because people just thought, we can't remember this www, whatever. No one can remember how to look up things. And, then all of a sudden it just picked up. Boom, that was it. This company's into all sorts of things. They've got so many businesses, it's not funny. Now, these are all figures that I pulled up 2015, but they generate revenue something like 245 billion US against yen. And they're basically a very big financial services company in Japan, in Tokyo. They're listed on the stock exchange and the securities exchange and the Japanese, the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Another thing too, the Japanese market is the second largest market to the US, but in foreign currency they are huge. On some days they can do more foreign currency than the US can. So if you look at this company, SBI, basically they've got securities, internet banking. These are all their other ventures, FX trading, all sorts of things, remittance, lending, you name it, solutions, insurance, finance, tech, whatever, all this sort of stuff. They are with Ripple Asia. They invested in Ripple back in 2016 because they saw their technology and what they were able to do. Very, very smart operators, and they bought 11% of Ripple. So this company actually owns 11% of Ripple, but they also intend to use their cryptocurrency, and they've formed with other banks and institutions to also use the cryptocurrency in January. They've got other businesses that they're setting up, hedge funds, mining, remittance transactions, so there's more and more businesses. They're in collaboration with all the card industry and transaction and payment history of other people, and they're in collaboration with JCB. It's a huge credit card issuer in Japan. Sumitomo Mitsui card. Now Sumitomo again do a lot of FX in the FX market. Credit some, but a lot of other participants. And basically, they're aiming at reducing costs and, obviously, business efficiency with instant settlement. So pretty much this is all going to be done. It's happening now, but it's going to be established in January, and there's going to be another 60-odd banks that are going to be participating in this in Asia. And Asia, I've got no doubt in my mind, this is my personal opinion, will be using Ripple's currency. There is no doubt about it. As I said before, using both the technology, one, they can reduce their cost by 30%, but using the currency, they can reduce their cost by another 30%. So it's 60% all up, which gives them a comparative advantage with other banks. So basically, it's really, really good news for Ripple. And already, I've started just seeing the last couple of days huge volumes going through for Ripple. I even saw on Bitfinex, I think it was, the other day, I saw, 2 lines of 12 million go through on the buy side. And again, this is something someone put up on Twitter. This is a currency transaction yesterday. Could have been in US time, I'm not sure. But someone just bought 10 million of Ripple. So Ripple, has huge volumes done, and people are taking positions on Ripple. Again, this is all my opinion. I believe that Ripple will absolutely 100% be on Coinbase. I've got no doubt in my mind. Absolutely no doubt. And when they do, Middle America will buy Ripple, because Ripple is literally all over the financial markets news. It's on all the professional news feeds. The traders are getting to know what Ripple is, what it is, and the traders will start buying Ripple, and also just the mums and dads in Middle America will start buying Ripple. I've got no doubt about that. CNBC's been talking about it, all sorts of news feeds in America. There's rumours out there that there's going to be 2 huge names mentioned by the end of this week that are potentially going to be using. They're going to be using Ripple's technology, but also my view is they're going to be using their currency as well. So I just want to move over that for a minute. The guy that's been talking about this is Joel Katz, and that's what he uses that's his pseudonym, and it's actually David Schwartz, which is Ripple's chief cryptographer. And he mentioned, if you can see this, that there's going to be 2 huge names which are going to be released, non-bank household names. And when one of the Ripple team, one of the Ripple supporters asked him, when is it going to be released? He actually said that it was going to be released this Friday. This Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So have a look at that. Have a look at that link there. But that's pretty much what he said. So there are a lot of rumours going around that it's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time this Friday. And, there's rumours going that it could be Uber, it could be Airbnb or Amazon, but it's going to be two big, 2 huge, actually, what he said, 2 huge household names, which are going to be non-bank. So I'm really keen to see that. But coming back to this, I see, as we know, that's what he's mentioned. There's going to be huge names which are non-banks that are going to be using Ripple's technology and potentially the currency. And even if you looked at a very simple valuation, which I've said again, simple valuation, just not looking at the issuance of the stock by the crypto price. But even if you looked at a simple valuation, there is much more to valuation than that. If you said that Amex, and we do know that Amex have got a partnership with Ripple and they're going to be using their technology, and we know that, but if they're also going to be using their crypto as well, then potentially, if you divided the 25 billion divided by the issuance of the coins, you'd get an increment of 52 cents to Ripple's price. Now, again, as I said, this is a very simplified version of valuation. It's not talking about the 2/3 of the balance sheet, the forward, the clients going forward, the revenue generation, the prospects being converted to clients or anything, whether they've got $15 billion cash compared to another company that has liabilities. So it is a very, very simple valuation. But just say potentially Ripple, and I'm just saying this potentially, I'm not saying this is, I believe this, but it could, look, anything's possible. Say Ripple potentially put on a PayPal to do both their currency and their technology. Again, PayPal do roughly about 82 billion a year in flows, all different flows around the world. Now, if Ripple got that client as a client for them in terms of using their technology and their coin, then, pretty much on a very simplified version, valuation, which is not correct, because as I said before in previous DVDs, there's much more to valuation than just this. You could say, just sort of rule of thumb roughly, that it would add $2.12 to Ripple's price. I just think the opportunities for Ripple are quite amazing, and because they're in the banking sphere and they're in the large corporate sphere, the fact that there's 38 billion circulating crypto issuance, plus the escrow of 55, I think it's going to be a drop in the ocean, because these guys are going for the big boys. And again, it's just massive revenue in terms of Ripple and their business. So anyway, look, I look forward to seeing what this announcement is at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which I'm assuming is Asian Pacific time zone, my time zone, this Friday. And let's hope it's some good news. They are rumours at this stage, but we just have to wait. So that's just an update. Hope you guys are all well. Please be good to yourself, kind to everyone else, kind to animals, and just make the world a better place. See you guys. I'll talk to you soon.